Welcome, everyone. It's a beautiful winter morning where I'm at, and I find myself both excited and very nervous about this video. This video is effectively why I recently created my personal finance channel. I've been obsessive about tracking my net worth over the last 14 years. I've effectively tracked it every single month, and it's been a tool that's allowed me to really learn more about myself and my personal finance journey and where I want to go. And I want to share that with you. And also, I want to learn from you. I don't think by any means I have a monopoly on the best way to do this. And it would be great to hear from others out in the personal finance community about what they do and what they think about my journey on this one. I am remaining anonymous because I think that allows me to be more honest, more transparent. You know, society really frowns upon us talking about money, and this allows me to be a little bit more honest with you because this is not something I talk about with many friends or family. So it is nice to actually share it with all of you. You know, one thing I will ask, if you do like this video as you go along, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. This allows you to have future videos recommended to you. Now, I realize everyone says that, and I ignore it just as much as you do, but there really is no commitment to hitting the subscribe button below. It just allows you to easily find future videos, and if you decide that you don't like these videos, it's really easy to unsubscribe as well. So I would appreciate it. Now, what are we going to be talking about today? Three main things. I'm going to do a real quick who I am so you understand like baseline where I'm coming from. Then we'll get to right to the point of why you're here. Let's look at the numbers. And I'll be very honest with you. These are true, accurate numbers. I did round them some just because I don't think you really care about the single digits, but these are accurate numbers from my own personal net worth report. And then finally, I'll get to some 2021 goals that I hope will increase my net worth in the future. And maybe it's something that you could get something from as well that might help you. As always, please comment down below if you see anything you like or don't like. This channel is for you, and it's not just for me to talk to a blank wall. So if you give me some feedback, I'm more than happy to adjust as I go forward. And hopefully, as I said, I'll learn from you. Let's jump right into it. So who am I? What's my background? I'm 50. I'm single without kids. I have a well-paying job. By no means, I do not earn $1 million a year. I do not earn $500,000 a year, and so on. My job does pay me more than the average salary in America, but I'm like a lot of you. I'm getting up every morning, going to work, or maybe lately staying home and working. But my salary, though, is my main source of income without a doubt, outside of passive income that I've created mainly from my salary. I have lived in the same house for over a decade now. I do think that owning a house and staying in the same house is a fantastic wealth building tool. It's not the only one, and you don't have to do that, but it is an area that I wish I had even gotten into sooner, and I think I'd even be further along than I am right now. As I've already kind of hinted about, I'm extremely diligent about wealth planning and tracking, but by no means am I perfect about this. I've made mistakes along the way. I've learned from those mistakes. I'm sure I will make more mistakes. And I think that's really the key. And lesson I've learned, and I would tell this to anyone, don't beat yourself up if you're not perfect. That's not the goal here. The goal is just to continually get better and learn from anything that didn't work out exactly the way we wanted it to. You know, the whole FIRE movement, I think I follow along with this, and I've been following along with it even before I even knew it existed. I've underlined financial independence because that's what matters to me the most. I'm not really interested in retiring early. Yeah, sure, it'd be great to be sitting on a beach somewhere, but that actually sounds a little bit boring to me. So my goal is that I want to be financially independent, so I'm not relying on my income as much in the future for my basically, I guess, survival, my living expenses, etc. So that's really the first part of FIRE, the FI, I guess, is what interests me the most. But retire early, I think it's important that you're ready to retire early. And I do agree with that aspect, even though I'm not looking to quit my job anytime soon. And why network tracking? I find that my network tracking is one of the two most important tools that I use to understand my personal finance. Now, early on, I used to have three, and that included my budget. At this point, my budget is pretty much on autopilot, so I don't think about that very much. I look at it from time to time and make sure nothing is crazy, but I don't really have to pay attention to that. The other tool that I use is I compare a lot of my components of my net worth to my salary. And that allows me to create ratios of understanding where I am. I think that when it comes to net worth, it's not fair comparing a public school teacher in New Mexico to an investment banker in New York City. Their bottom line on their net worth is going to be vastly different. But what relatively though, that they can both compare each other by understanding their net worth in relation to their own salary or their own income, because that's really the most important thing, is understanding where you are. I plan to do a future video on these ratios that I use. I won't do them today, but that's another tool that I use in addition to my net worth. So let's just jump right into the numbers right here. So these are the actual numbers from my January net worth. Like I said, I did round them. That's why they all end in zeros, because I don't think those really matter that much at these levels. So my checking and savings. So this is my checking account, my emergency fund, and also I put a health savings account in here, even though I don't really touch that very often. I do keep about 9 months of an emergency savings, and I put that into accounts that I'm earning approximately 1%. I know we all agree these low interest rates suck these days, and we really are tempted to put them into the market where you can earn, 10, 20% a year. But I feel safer keeping them out of the market in case something goes wrong, because I have lived long enough to see people, friends and family, lose their job and then rely on savings. And normally when there's mass layoffs, the stock market is also down, so I wouldn't want to see my emergency fund be reduced because of a dual hit of a loss of a job as well as the stock market. Next, obviously the biggest number on here, it's my retirement account. I wish this number was higher. There were years that I didn't contribute as much to my retirement as I should have, but I can't change that now. It's obviously higher than I think average for most people at 50, or it's around the median or a little higher than the median. So happy with that, but I'm still looking to have that grow substantially before I ultimately retire. Cryptocurrency, controversial subject in the personal finance world. Some people think it's a Ponzi scheme. Some people think it's something that you should have 99% of your net worth in. Obviously, I'm falling in the middle. I've been interested in this for about 3 years now. It's grown substantially over the past year, and I'll touch on that here in a second. Home value. This is an extremely conservative number of what my house could sell for. It's appreciated a great deal since I purchased it over 10 years ago. Now, with this, I think I could sell it for much more than 400,000, but I want to be conservative on here. I have to live somewhere, and it's not something I'm looking to sell anyway, so I figure I don't want to get caught into lying to myself what my house could sell for. Car value, another conservative value. Every maybe 3-6 months, I'll go in there and figure out what the trade-in value is for the car. Once again, the trade-in value gives you a conservative value. So altogether, my assets are 1.3 million. Still blows my mind that it's over $1 million, because I spent most of my career with it nowhere near this amount. So large number, still hard to believe. Liabilities, credit cards, I pay these off every month, but it was $400 at the end of January. My car loan, $6,200. I have been aggressively paying this off, and it will be gone soon. And my mortgage, wish I had been paying off more of this, or paying more every single month. So that's something, I wish it was lower, but it's not bad. It's very manageable for me. So altogether, I owe about $170,000. So what is my net worth? So wow, it's still hard for me to wrap my head around that it's over $1 million, and now it's even at 1.1 million. And it's even grown more in February, only being the first week. Now, this is a recent development that it's gone over $1 million, so that hasn't really hit home that I could put myself in millionaire status. And I'm not really sure I truly believe that I am, and I'll talk about that. I'll show a graph here in a second, but some other things. It's grown 4% over the December numbers, and it's grown over 25% for the past year, which is just outrageous. That's something that I don't think anyone should count on as a sustainable number to grow that much. So how has it grown? So here is a graph of the last 2 years through January. And I think the thing that stands out, really there's two things that stand out. You see right in the middle, that big drop, that's the COVID crisis starting when the stock market dropped so quickly in March and April. And then at the end, you'll see over the last 3 months that it's skyrocketed. And it's only gone over million status for my net worth, really the last 2 months, you could say 3 months. Now, because of this, I'm not sure that it's going to be sustained at this level and going to continue to grow at this kind of like straight north rate here. And why is that? So why has it grown so much? And it's really two areas that I have on my net worth. It's my retirement account and it's my cryptocurrency balance. These have both just gone through the roof the last couple of months. And because of that, I understand that the reverse could occur at any day now. So it could happen, and I'm prepared for that one. So if something happens with either of these, my net worth could go right back below $1 million tomorrow. So I'm not emotionally attached to that label millionaire, and it could be dropping. So something that I'm not too worried about if it drops. Once again, it's a long-term journey. It's not about 1 month at a time. Okay, then kind of transitioning. What are my financial goals for this year? I kind of break them into a couple different categories. One of them is solid, locked in. I'm doing these short of a life-changing event like something that requires me to spend a lot of money, like let's say if I have a health crisis or if I lose my job. And what are these? I'm going to max out my 401k contributions. 19.5, the basic, and because I'm 50 plus, I'm putting 6,500 in for the catch up. I've been doing this for about 6 months now, so I've learned to live with having this much money come out of my paychecks. And I'm going to pay off my car in March. I'm sick of that debt. And even though I don't have to pay it off that quickly, I just want it gone. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that debt completely go off the balance sheet later in, I guess, about 2 months from now. Then I have aspirational goals. These are ones that I haven't worked out all the details and I'm trying to understand where and what I want to do. So one, I want to pivot more to a 401k Roth. And this is so that I have more flexibility once I retire. I still want to obviously maintain a regular 401k balance that will be taxable upon taking out withdrawals in retirement, but I also want to have a decent balance in a Roth account so it grows tax-free and I can withdraw from it tax-free. That gives me, depending on the tax situation or my own situation upon retirement, it just gives me more flexibility. So I want to pivot more to my contributions going to a Roth. I want to start a non-retirement investment account. I used to do this a lot more, but I've kind of gone away from it. Almost anything in the stock market, it's in my retirement account. And I don't know why I did that. I just kind of got away from investing on the side, and I do everything with my 401k, and actually I have an IRA as well. So this is something I want to improve on in 2021. And then finally, I do want to add to my cryptocurrency balance. I would like to see my Bitcoin grow by or have about a half of a Bitcoin more. This is going to be a little bit difficult based on my budget because now, as of the time I'm putting this together, Bitcoin is worth about $39,000, $40,000, and I don't have in my annual budget an additional $20,000 to do. So this is an area that I don't quite know how I'm going to do this. But one thing I'll point out, as far as these three aspirational goals, they're really all in conflict with each other because if I do one, it decreases the likelihood of me doing the other two because I'll have less money to spend outside of my 401k. Contributions are with my paycheck. So I haven't yet decided how I'm going to do on this. I don't know. What are your thoughts? It'd be great to hear from you what I should or should not be doing, or should there be something else I should be paying attention to? So I can see now this video is getting extremely long, so I'm going to be cutting this off. If you're still here, a like would be really appreciated. Maybe I've earned that because I've kind of kept you entertained for over 14 minutes. So anyway, thanks a lot for your attention, and I will be producing more videos like this as I continue. So have a great day.